truly grateful that you kept me. Sometimes I close my eyes, I think about it. I said, Lord, you. How many consider today? Lord, you kept me. Thank you, Lord. I'm so grateful.
Well, hey, everybody, how you doing? I'm Pastor Maxwell of New Beach Grove Baptist Church, and I'm here with the one and only Pastor Luther Barnes, man. My goodness, great man of God, great psalmist. Been coming to our church almost since I became the pastor here, man. I mean, he made me look like I'm somebody, man.
Oh, man,
but we was in the little bitty church, man, where you could see everybody in the building at one time. He was there, man. So we just thank him so much. Thank you so much for being a part of our growth and an intricate part of our growth because of your presence. Because a lot of times people come because they think you know somebody and because they thought I knew you and they came to church. So thank you so much. But we here today. You know, just tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to be, you know, where you are now.
Well, man, that's a long story. It's going to take a long time to say all of that. But God is good. First of all, thank you for having me here again. I like being in your presence. I like seeing how God has blessed you. And I always learn something when I come here and I sort of see how you do things. And I really admire your leadership and just how God has blessed you, man. So you just walk in it and just do what God tells you to do. I know sometimes we don't understand what God is doing, but follow Him, you won't go wrong.
Right.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes. But I've been singing all of my life. It was from a little boy, and I grew up in the church. Of course, my father, Bishop F.C. Barnes, he pastored our church for 52 years.
Every time you hear me singing my song, I'm praising the Lord. Every time you hear me singing my song, I'm praising. Every time you hear me singing my song, I'm thinking of where He has brought me from. Yes, sir. I'm praising the Lord. I want to say that again.
And before he passed in 2011, so he's been gone 10 years now. And I'm pastoring myself now, Restoration Worship Center, Rocky Mount, North Carolina. We're doing well. God is blessing. So I'm just following in my father's footsteps and still singing, still writing songs, and still getting a little airplay here and there. So I'm just blessed with the Lord and just happy to be where I am.
Wow.
Oh, yes.
Wow. Well, sometimes it's amazing how sometimes people don't think that you have any problems when you a pastor. And I remember before I became pastor, I wrote down all these things that was going on. Man, I remember this when I was a principal, this happened, when I was a teacher, this happened. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna have these stories so when I started pastoring, I'd be able to relate to the people. But man, I ain't need none of those stories when I started pastoring because I had my own stories that were created right there. I ain't need any pen or paper, anything. I had real life stories. Can you tell us how was it? Was it easy? Was it hard? What were some of the greatest challenges you had as a pastor and as a leader, period?
Well, I've only been pastoring now for 8 years, and it's been real good for me. God blessed me from the start. The first service I had, I brought in about 80 people that were already waiting on me to be a pastor. Say, I'm holding my ties, and whatever you say you're going to be a pastor, I'm ready for you. So God blessed me in that area. Of course, everybody don't always stay. And, a lot of family members and all, but God has been real good, man. And I've just learned not to make things too large. Sometimes if you don't recognize that you see it, but don't touch everything, it goes better for you. Most things will work its way out if you don't get involved in it. And I've learned how to love people and, smile a lot. I learned how to endorse my people, how to appreciate them, tell them thank you. And I guess on them too, I guess on them as well. But most people will follow you by example. Right. If you're a nice person, if you have a nice attitude, whatever, they'll learn to be that way, and it makes it easier for you. And you walk in excellence, and make sure things are done well. I allow people chances to do stuff. I don't have to have a microphone all the time. let other folk. I have an associate pastor, which is my brother. He does very well, and I just got some great memories. I haven't had a lot of problems at all, and God has just been real good to me. And I'm always looking for Satan to pick his head out, at some time. I know he's always, when saints together, he's always in the midst. And I always remind myself that Jesus picked 12, and he picked Judas.
It was Jesus, right?
Jesus did that.
Jesus, right?
Like, hey, what do you think about me? So he's going to be in there. So like you did something wrong because you put somebody in charge that's not supposed to be on the board or something like that and give you a problem. Because sometimes that's God does that, just to try your faith and see how dedicated you are and see what you can handle. Right. Put the heat on you. Yes. But he's there with you. Yes. And so after the end of the day, everything works out.
One thing I always say is the same way we want our people to pay their tithes, Satan pay his tithes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, like this, I believe if you got 100 members, 10 of them going to be devils.
That's right.
If you got 220 of them.
Yeah.
So my thing is you have to be able to handle the pain. I believe you only can get blessed to the threshold of pain that you can handle.
Right.
And it's amazing you started talking about, you alluded to some troubles here and trouble there. And they always, I was, one of my pastors taught me, he said, never waste a good crisis. Like when you have a crisis,
you learn
use
from
that,
it.
right? Or use that to pivot.
Exactly.
Can you give us an example of a good crisis? Or no crisis good.
Yeah.
You can teach about it and say it's good, but when you going through it, you ain't thinking about I ain't gonna waste this good crisis. But like anything, because I know David didn't become David really until he killed Goliath. So can you give us an example of something?
Yeah, of course. When I wrote the song, they said I wouldn't make it. I'm still holding on.
Yes.
That's from my personal experience. My friends in college said that I wouldn't make it in gospel music. They said I was wasting my time, wasting my voice, like that. My goals weren't big enough, that kind of thing. And it gave me determination. I'm glad they said it because it gave me determination to show them I am going to make it. I am going to be somebody. And that song became one of my main songs that I for about 40 years, I'm still singing.
Wow, I know.
I'm still holding on. Yeah. So a lot of my songs come out of those kinds of things, pains that I've been through, family, and different things like that. But God has always blessed me. So if you listen to my songs, you hear my testimonies through my songs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Because it's like somebody else may sing it, but they don't understand the history. They don't understand the story behind it. I like that because so many people don't understand that. You show me somebody blessed like you, I show you somebody that went through some pain.
Yeah, there you go.
Somebody that went through some hardships because you cannot get to that level without it. Because the devil not going to mess with anybody who's no threat to him. That's what people don't understand. Amen. But I like what you said. You said your brother's associate pastor and you use other people. So many times as an African-American pastor, especially as a Baptist pastor, they want pastor do this, pastor do that, pastor do that. What advice can you give some young pastors coming up about how they could, can't just give away responsibility, but how they can delegate and share leadership?
You have to trust people and you work with them for whatever they ought to do. You teach them to read the scripture and make sure you go over it before you go up to read it so you won't be stumbling.
Yes.
Take your time with your words, pronounce your words correctly, and don't go over time. You don't have to have a testimony when you come up to read the scripture.
Do what you ask.
Yeah, do what you ask to do. Yeah. All of that, those kinds of things. And you just work with them and give them a chance, and you'll find out you got some people out there that can really do some amazing things if they have the opportunity.
Yes. Wow. Wow. Thank you. Well, I'm not going to keep him too long because he's about to sing for us today, boy. He always up here, always taking care of us. We appreciate Pastor Luther Barnes, our senior citizens, our old school appreciator. And then you got one of my members singing with you, man, like 45,000 views with you. Peaches sang with you.
Oh, look out.
On one of your, and it's on your YouTube.
Really?
It's like 45,000 views.
Oh, really?
When you came here, right?
Oh, okay.
Right,
wonderful.
when they were saying,
God's grace.
Yeah.
I do that a lot. I have people come up and just share the mic.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, great.
It was amazing, and it was here that day when I kind of pushed him off the ledge because he didn't want to stream on you. So I said, man, let me do it anyway. He saw the screen. Yeah, man, go ahead and do it. 45,000 views, baby.
Look out.
45,000 views, and I'm like, wow, that's a lot of views.
Well, that's not just me, Pastor. It's because of you and your excellence. I like your theatrical look that you have in your auditorium, and man, it's just wonderful the way you present yourself. And so, hey, I've been thinking about doing a major concert here anyway. So
hey, well, come on, we ready. Look, now he humble. He can say me all he want, but I ain't got 45,000 views nowhere. Hey, look, I need to make sure I put my stuff on his page.
Look out, man! Look out! Look out!
We think, but that's another thing about Pastor Barnes that I admire. I mean, he already told me he's 20 years older than me, so I ain't talking about his age, all right? But the thing about it is how to evolve. So many churches are dying because they don't know how to evolve. You know, I had a church call me from Atlanta. They were mad because their pastor wanted to stream. Oh. And they were calling me to interview to be the pastor over there.
That's how they enlarge,
I said, hold on. First of all, I wouldn't want to go behind nobody's back. I'm happy where I'm at, even though I would want to go to Atlanta.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you telling me you fighting in the midst of a pandemic, whether you should stream or not. People can't even go to church all the way because of the pandemic. You have to social distance, and you telling me you still resisting streaming on Facebook and YouTube that you don't have to pay for to get the word out. How can you get the word out? So my thing is, what I appreciate about him is old school, new school, whatever school you want to call him, he continues to evolve and reinvent himself. And that's what you have to do in leadership. 45,000 views. Some people in his generations, one guy called me the devil. When I first got here at the old building, we were streaming on Facebook before it was really popular. And he called me the devil because I was preaching from my iPad and because we were streaming on Facebook, and that's the devil. But the devil can only kill, steal, and destroy. He can't create nothing. So I'm just happy for someone like you to help the generation before me get into the marketplace like that, because you missing so many people. The only reason why the internet is saturated with the devil is because Christian folk allow him to take the territory.
Yes. Well, Pastor Maxwell, I admire any preacher that can preach from the hip. Yeah. You know, you got it all in your head, and you just go right on. I don't have it like that. I got to write my stuff down, iPad or notes or whatever, so I can stay on point. And I can give the people what God has given me and not mess up and not miss it and sit down, well, I should have said this, I should have did that. It's all together. That's just me. Yeah. Now, but if you got it like that where you can just walk the aisle and just it's all in your head, that's wonderful. And as far as live streaming, that's a wonderful thing. I have people that support me in Texas, Atlanta, Florida, Alabama, all over that can't come to my church. Right. And now that I've got that, I've got to do both. I got to do live church, live streaming, Bible study, all that, you know, so that's what we do. And we just thank God for it. He just created a way for us to reach more people. Yes, exactly. So he said, in the last days, I'll pour out my spirit upon all flesh. Yes. And this is one way he's doing that because of technology. Wow. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wow. You heard it from the one and only Pastor Luther Barnes. Pour it out on all flesh. We can reach all flesh because we're going through the internet, the highways and byways. Oh, my goodness. Well, it's been an honor. Thank you so much. You, we always look forward to hearing you sing. Sir. We ready.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here at the New Beach School. God bless you. Love this church, man.
Oh, I appreciate it. So this is another leadership lesson, man. We got one of the greatest leaders of our time, greatest pastor of our time, greatest psalmist of our time, and it's just humbling to be in his presence, man. I thank you so much. Thank you.
God bless you, Doc.
I appreciate it.
All right. They said I wouldn't make it. They said I wouldn't be here today. They said I'd never amount to anything. But I'm glad to say that I'm on my way, and I'm growing more and more and more each day. Oh, there were many
there. Come on, get on your feet and help us sing it. Come on. Come on, stand up and help us sing it. Everybody, come on. Let me hear you.
I am still.